Hi, welcome to PXL Get, the video game talk show. I'm Ash Bowman, joined by James, Peter, and Ryan, and today we're going to talk about what makes a perfect score for a game. So lads, what makes a 10 for you?
Well, like, you've got the basic elements. The gameplay itself, does it have a good campaign? Does it have a good multiplayer? Right. Is there good replayability? We expect all that to be good in games.
Well, what I want to know is how does hype lead into the 10ness? So like if a game is super hyped up and then it turns out to be really good, does that make it more of a 10 than a game that has no buzz at all and then turns out to shock everybody?
In this day and age, it's also really hard to get hype for every single game that's coming out because we've got these yearly releases every single time. You've got your Assassin's Creeds, your Call of Duties.
A 10 for me especially is one that I don't expect, like a new franchise or a new story or experience I've never played before. So that immediately cuts out Call of Duty games, then immediately cuts out Assassin's Creed. They're not even eligible to be in contention. And since so much of the video game budget goes to all of those games, it totally has changed the market for what we see.
So we're trying to find a compromise at this point between coming out annually and then coming out too late, because let's drop it. Nintendo has been hyping things up way too much lately and then pushing the dates further back and to the point where we just don't care anymore.
Well, I got to play Star Fox when I went to Fan Expo in Toronto, and the controls were not what I'm used to out of a Star Fox game, right? All the new Nintendo properties try to include some kind of new.
They're held back by some kind of gimmick.
They delayed the game. They gave time to work on it. It's not like a buggy mess.
Absolutely, and I completely agree with that. I want to throw it to you guys. Name a 10 out of 10 game that you have personally.
Metal Gear Solid 5, Phantom Pain.
I agree with you on that one, and I know there's people that will disagree with that. There's not much story to be had in MGS5. We have to admit this.
I know where you're
we have to admit that.
I know where you're going with that though, but
there's like an overarching theme. There is something going on. It does satisfy to a degree.
You literally just described Metal Gear Solid 5 as, quote, satisfying to a degree, and it's also a 10.
I think they took the best parts of Metal Gear and made it better, more fluid. Going back to previous Metal Gear games after playing Metal Gear Solid 5 does feel weird. It's very janky. Metal Gear Solid 5 is smooth. It's got a really satisfying running animation.
Does that make a 10? The running animation?
That's a 10.
I'm running a lot in the game, so it's yeah, I feel cool running.
Sangoman, what you smoking?
I'm not smoking, I'm breathing.
For me, I'd have to say my 10 is probably Skyrim. I will spend at least several weeks sinking so much of my life into that game and becoming so immersed in the world, and there's no other game that I've ever played that does that for me.
What is it that does that
really
for
just I wake up, start playing Skyrim, look at the clock, and it's now 6 in the evening, and I've done nothing all day.
You're saying Metal Gear Solid 5 is your recent 10, Skyrim is yours. Ryan, what are you saying?
Honestly, I don't know what Grand Theft Auto game to pick. My nostalgia says San Andreas, but in my opinion, they get better every time. GTA 4 was my favorite game when that came out, and GTA 5 is my new favorite game.
GTA 5 is good.
It is, and the online is there is no reason to own another game.
Look out the way!
It's gonna come to that point at some point.
It's just
it's entirely
what does
subjective.
it mean to you? When someone asks oh, what's the perfect game? It's well, this is the perfect game for me.
Exactly.
One of my favorite games ever is The Walking Dead Season 1.
Is that because it evoked an emotional?
Absolutely, and I love that. I love that game proved that games can do that.
What should we do now?
I would say another 10 for me would be Dark Souls.
So
I mean, Dark Souls is not fundamental. It has a garbage level.
No, you were good at the first syllable. Dark Souls is not fun.
Think of it like torture, right? So
I do.
We're still talking about video games, right?
Yeah. And that's the level of reward that you get in Dark Souls. It's just I am no longer in physical pain.
Peter, if Dark Souls isn't a 10, what is it?
Like an 8.5 or 9.
Okay.
You made it sound really bad.
Exactly. You said.
No, I don't think it's bad.
You just gave torture an 8.5 and a 9.
You're just gonna say one more game. If you have one on the list that you consider a 10, one sentence why you think it's a 10. Ryan, you can go first.
Red Dead Redemption, I'll tell you that because it is just as one of the best game stories of all time, and it's the game that taught me that games can have incredible stories too.
Marvelous shot, dear boy.
For me, it's Shadow of the Colossus. It just pulled at my heartstrings, and I can't even pinpoint why, but it was just a really great and minimalist game design.
Virtue's Last Reward. Great visual novel mechanics, puzzle mechanics, an interesting story, and just fun to solve that mystery.
What the hell? This is important stuff. Why didn't you tell us about this earlier?
Sorry.
Thanks so much for watching. I hope we dug deep enough for you to evoke some kind of emotion, and if there's a 10 that you think that we missed, please say something in the comments below, and if you want to see more of this content, subscribe maybe, please. Thanks for watching.